We are DeWalt. We're the ones who grind it out. The ones using materials from all over the world to build the things that build America, right here in America. And there's no place we'd rather be. Land of the free, tools of the brave.
Today on Built to Last, we learn what it takes to lift hearts.
They come in a little shy at the beginning.
And keep them beating.
Because too many people are dying on the job.
Share the American dream and be stewards for this planet. It's time for Built to Last.
Built to Last is brought to you by the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters Labor and Management Committee and the Boy Scouts of America Pathway to Adventure Council. Welcome to Built to Last. I'm Monica Pedersen.
And I'm Mark Nilsson. Here at the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters Apprentice and Training Center, the next generation of America's workforce doesn't just learn the skills of their trades, but also are taught to be stewards for their communities.
This week's episode in particular showcases that. From matters ranging from mentorship to the environment, the trades take the responsibility of stewardship to heart.
And the carpenter's heart is perhaps never as open as when children are the ones in need.
St. John's Children's Hospital serves a very large region of children in our community.
This facility is located in Springfield, Illinois, but there are children from all over central Illinois and I'm sure southern and northern Illinois that come.
Even if they haven't been touched by the Children's Hospital today, you don't know what tomorrow will bring. And it's important to have this type of health care, specifically pediatric and all the very different specialties that we have in our community.
My daughter was born premature 26 years ago. We were here at St. John's. My wife was here for 28 days. My daughter was here for 16 days afterwards.
My youngest daughter, she spent a couple weeks in here when she was just an infant. She had gotten pneumonia.
I couldn't imagine being stuck in a hospital room with one of my babies with something serious. You can see the stress on a lot of these parents' face.
You can have the littlest things make the biggest difference.
The Carpenters Local 270 and the Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters have been so generous to our neonatal intensive care unit campaign.
It's very important when you see a facility like this, like St. John's, wanting to strive for excellence, you want to get on board and help push too.
We have a lot of contractors that work in these facilities and our members are employed here. So, whenever we can give back, whenever there's an opportunity to help fundraise.
We raise money through our finances to help them with their projects that they have ongoing, yearly sometimes or biannually, but they're always doing a project and we're always involved with them, and it's a partnership that we've created.
Not only have they given of their financial resources, but they have given of their time on many occasions.
When children come into the hospital, they lose all control. They are being told when they can and cannot eat. They're told when they have to wake up or when they can go to sleep, if they can get out of bed, if they can't get out of bed, if they have to go to the bathroom. There's all of their control is lost.
The event today is our Carpenters Build with the Kids, where we have kids come in and do these wonderful activities that Carl and RJ and Ricky and the whole team set up here.
The project was a toolbox, and we had one of our members who prefabbed them for us.
Pre-cut out, pre-drilled, so it's something easy for the kids to put together. We help them with their hands-on part of it.
The children drive what we do and how we do it, the process that we do. And this day's about them.
This is Carson.
Hi, Carson.
They come in a little shy at the beginning, and we get to talking to them a little bit and helping them with the projects, and you can just see their demeanor change.
And I'm gonna have you pound the nail in.
And then it's, okay, this is cool, I like what I'm doing. I'm thinking about anything but what we're doing right now, what's in front of me.
It's just something completely different.
There you go. Keep hitting it.
They're allowed to get their anger out, whether they're mad about being in here or something that's happened. They can use that hammer and get their anger out, but then they can also use their creativity and use their own their own ideas to make this such a fun experience.
The 6-year-old little Carson, as soon as we put the first couple nails in, she pretty much shoved me out of the way, you know, and said, I got this. I just put the nail in there, and she just hammered before I can even get the nail in there.
I really enjoy the carpenters when they come in because they really get down on the kids' level. They sit in the chair with them and they talk with them and they get them to laugh.
We give them a certificate of authenticity is what we call it, and then they get to take it home with the hammer.
We have a blast when we do it. We have a great group of volunteers, you know, agents, members, our CIA members.
It's very inspiring to see how strong some of these kids are. You can tell by the smile on their faces that they're trying to find something good to relate to. I think little projects like this is one of those things.
As a parent, when you see that smile come over their face, when you know what they're up against and you see that they can make a commitment and follow through, it gives you a sense of hope as well.
Whenever they come in and they do these nice things for the kids and the things that we do, it makes us want to give back as well.
It's kind of a circle of life.
We give back to our community. We support those that support us.
That's what we're about, giving back to the community, giving back to We Build America.
Maybe good 12 to 15 minutes into it, the first engine company pulls up with the Chicago Fire Department.
I had no heartbeat at all, and they paddled me back. I think they hit me 3 times.
Every boy needs a foundation he can stand on, to embrace opportunity, to overcome obstacles. Because this is the time to equip a boy with what he needs for where he's going. And where he's going is anywhere he wants.
Keeping restaurants and hotels up to date with the latest design trends is a constant challenge. Finding qualified contractors isn't at finishingchicago.com. We work with top designers and general contractors who use the latest painting, drywall finishing, and wall covering techniques in Chicagoland's premier hotels and restaurants. The hospitality industry relies on finishingchicago.com as its free resource to find quality finishing contractors. For a great finish, start with finishingchicago.com.
At Armstrong Ceiling and Wall Solutions, we take great pride in making a positive difference in the lives of people. With the broadest portfolio in the industry and the technical performance to back it up, you can design and install with confidence. Our ceiling construction expertise, training, and pre-engineered ceiling solutions make it easy for you to seamlessly transition from one end of the building to the other. Improve construction efficiencies and keep every job on time, on budget, and on the mark with Armstrong Ceiling and Wall Solutions. Faster, easier, better.
Safety is of the utmost importance for the trades. Sometimes the need for safety doesn't come when building towering structures, but rather from the dangers that lie within.
Every year we do a Labor Day festival. We started this in 2016. I took it upon myself, being involved with it, to spearhead the electrical portion of it, being an electrician.
My name's O'Neill. I'm a paramedic and a firefighter.
I had a friend of mine come and pick me up out in the parking lot, sat in the little work cart next to him. Next thing he remembers is that I'm laying in his lap. Went to push me off, and I was dead.
I heard my name. It came across the radio clearly. O'Neill, get to the front gate.
They called for help on the radio.
You're the one that's a paramedic, right? I says, yeah. He says, hey, you need to get over there to the golf cart.
He was able to keep the blood flowing to my brain and through my body just by doing compressions.
Maybe good 12 to 15 minutes into it, the first engine company pulls up with the Chicago Fire Department.
I had no heartbeat at all, and they paddled me back. I think they hit me 3 times. He definitely saved my life.
Building our American cities and communities, while rewarding, is not without risk.
There's a lot of times our jobs are in environments high heat, and also, freezing cold. We'll be outside in the elements. A lot of physical labor, heavy cabling, bending big pipe. We jackhammer our own, concrete sometimes, rigging, things like that we have to do to get our job done. Yeah, we work hard.
Heart disease can be devastating to an individual as well as their family and communities. That's why the trades collaborated on Hard Hats with Heart in order to help fund the American Heart Association's mission.
we, the American Heart Association, sat down with a few of our partners within the construction and healthcare industries, and we said, what if? What if we brought this industry together around issues that are important to all of us?
Well, Hard Hats for Heart was started about 3 years ago, somewhat in response to some incidents with construction workers. And the companies they worked for thought that they needed to do more on job site safety.
You know, initially it was because it was personal for them. But as we sort of dug a little bit deeper, what we found is that they also had a desire to learn CPR, to be equipped to save a life should they ever be called into service.
And the trades embrace the opportunity to help save lives, with classes being offered at their training centers.
This is a first aid CPR AED course through American Heart Association that we've been training our members on now in-house for the past 5 years.
And then make sure that you stay clear.
They go through the complete CPR process from arriving on the scene, making sure everything's safe, seeing if your patient is responsive or not, to the compressions and the breathing, using an AED device.
The culture really needed to be shaken up because too many people are dying on the job.
You'll try 3 sets of 2 breaths like before.
That's the biggest eye-opener that a lot of people don't realize. That we have to change. That's what I do now. I try to change that.
The class is good. It's good to take just to have that knowledge and know about it, and because once you're informed, you're actually a bonus to society.
So we're pushing down on the hard part of the plastic.
While proper training may help save lives, improving lifestyle habits can help mitigate risk as well.
Again, watch for the chest to rise.
You know, this is an industry that historically had a lot of smokers, eat fast food.
We don't pay attention to our bodies enough. Chicken, beef, and sausage, you know, we eat off roach coaches, right?
Educating them while they have the physical safety component, this takes care of their entire well-being, teaching them about changing their behaviors, because while they can be safe on a job site, they need to just be taking care of themselves holistically.
I pretty much cut all that out of my diet now. I don't mess around anymore because, yeah, I was lucky enough to be saved once. I don't want to take a chance.
3, 2, 1.
Just a couple of months ago, a report came out that the survival rate in Chicago has grown to 9.5%. That's a full percentage point better than the national average. It's still not okay, but we're heading in the right direction.
People say that this, you know, the world, no one cares no more, but I still believe that there's people out there that care. And, you know, and if you have the training, you could get in there and you can make a difference.
I can't even tell you how grateful I am. I mean, I have 2 daughters. And just now knowing that I'll be able to walk them down the aisle, so to speak, eventually, and see potential, you know, my grandkids and my whole life has changed.
The leading cause of death in the U.S., 80% of heart attacks can be prevented by a healthy diet, exercise, and regular blood pressure checks.
Marco had a lot of stick-to-itiveness.
He showed up every day. He worked hard. Eventually, you know, the guys he was working with said, yeah, you know, the kid's okay.
When you need a concrete contractor for your commercial project, you can't waste time waiting through countless unproven contractors who don't specialize in the job type you need or service your area. ConcreteIL.com lets you browse Northern Illinois' top contractors to find the perfect fit for your exact needs. You can filter our vetted list of contractors by both job type and location, and even request proposals directly through the site. Thinking commercial concrete? Think ConcreteIL.com.
Meet the new family of Blaze laser measures from Bosch. Go ahead, turn it on and start measuring. It's that simple. The Blaze family offers a wide range of functions to tackle any measuring job. Extend your reach with accuracy up to a 1/16 of an inch. With Bluetooth-enabled devices, easily transfer measurements to your smartphone or tablet with free Bosch apps. Reach farther, work faster, and stay accurate with the Bosch Blaze family of laser measures. Measure on.
The Roach family didn't just earn their own version of the American dream, they realized the greatness of the nation lies in sharing that dream with others.
Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The words etched on the Statue of Liberty invited also the ambitious and the talented ready to build their American dream here on our soil.
My name is Marco Romero. I'm the president and owner of iBuilders Corp. We're a Hispanic and operated family-owned business.
There's definitely a parallel between Marco's story and my father's story. My father came out when he was 20 years old from Ireland.
I'm born and raised in Zacatecas, Mexico. I was brought here when I was 7 in 1994.
Marco was significantly younger when he came out, but you know, they're both immigrants, they're both carpenters, hard workers, family guys.
As was Ulick O'Reilly, another Irish immigrant at Dankin Roach.
Ulick started with the company as an apprentice, worked his way up.
From an apprentice to being a journeyman carpenter, a crew leader, then a foreman.
General superintendent, and now vice president of field operations.
I always like to take a chance on somebody that needs a break.
We were going through a recession, so it was very hard to keep a constant job. You know, it went from being a full work carpenter to having a day or two out of the week, and you know, most of the time being just laid off.
Marco was the first apprentice that we took back on.
He had a tough task ahead of him because everybody that was around had been a foreman for us at that time.
Dankin Roach kept their best foreman working, and I had the ability to learn from experienced carpenters.
Kind of like a rookie player having to come and play on the all-star team.
Marco had a lot of stick-to-itiveness.
He showed up every day, he worked hard, and eventually, you know, the guys that he was working with said, yeah, you know, the kid's okay.
I got inspired to go back to school. So I was a full-time carpenter during the day and a full student during the night.
It takes a lot for somebody to do that.
I did this for 2 years.
You know, it just showed the kind of character that Marco has.
And people like Senior Patrick Roach are living proof that if you work hard and that if you have the perseverance, that you could accomplish anything in life.
When he told me he was going to strike out, do something on his own, yeah, I was a little disappointed. However, you know, I knew that, you know, he'd been working hard. We parted on real good terms, and I told him if there was anything we could ever do to help him out, don't be afraid to call.
One of the challenges of being a new startup business is that you have to carry a lot of hats. You know, when I started, I was the estimator, I was the superintendent, I was the foreman, and I did all the paperwork in the office. You don't have the line credit. You know, you don't have, you know, the banks won't even look at you if you don't have 3 or 5 years in business.
Then Marco learned about the City of Chicago's Mentor-Protege Agreement Program. He reached out to Ulick to see if he could partner with Dankin Roach.
There's benefits for both sides. You know, there's benefits for the mentor and the protege.
He was very interested in partnering with Dankin Roach as a minority-based enterprise. He wanted to be union. We had been working with a couple of other companies and we had some successes, but I felt as though we could do better, and I knew Marco.
Ulick doesn't come to me with recommendations for people every day.
I knew his work ethic and I knew his attitude.
So there has to be engineering to go along with it. We brought Marco in, gave him a cubicle, or half a cubicle, so we could spare at the time. You have to have 5-10 grand in engineering.
You know, the opportunity that Terrence gave me, you know, it's beyond words.
What do we say, LB6?
Since we started our mentor protege agreement in 2005, which was only for a year, we have been participating and working together in 5 projects.
We've had quite a few successes now, successful projects with iBuilders. Working with iBuilders is a good scenario for us.
They get MBE credits towards a new project. So there's incentives for general contractors to take small contractors under their wings. We work together well.
They understand us and we understand them very well. And it's good to know that your partner's got your back.
iBuilders looks out for Duncan Roach, and Duncan Roach looks out for iBuilders.
I was never a guy who could see things thrown out. I remember I'd go in the dump box and I'd grab them out and they said, "Kid, what are you doing with that?" I said, "It's brand new material. Don't worry, it's paid for."
Stabila lasers and levels, designed for contractors that perform high-risk layouts every day. These accurate and durable lasers have a working range up to 1,800 feet. Square your next job site with confidence. Stabila, how true pros measure.
I was running a pro shop.
It was in the military.
Accounting degree.
Dog groomer. 8 hours a day sitting in the computer.
I knew I wanted to be an electrician.
I joined their trainee program.
They're willing to pay you to go to school.
It was just cool.
You learn about motor controls, you learn about fire alarms.
The pay is great.
The union provides the benefits, health coverage.
It gives me a great retirement plan.
I like working with my hands.
Setting me up for the rest of my life.
The all-new Skill Saw heavy-duty worm drive table saw with stand. The world's only full-size table saw with worm drive gearing. Delivering unmatched durability, unwavering power, and unrivaled torque. So you get better results. Faster. Nothing compares to worm drive gearing. Skill Saw. Stay true.
Acts of caring range from small to large. Perhaps no act is grander than taking care of this planet and protecting us all from environmental disaster.
Look at all these alerts, wide-ranging and far-reaching from Maine all the way down to Georgia.
Look at the massive climate-related events that we've had this year. Just this year, they were bigger, more intense storm events, fires, droughts. We've let it go so far that stopping the impacts of global climate change really aren't part of the conversation anymore. It's about how do we make ourselves resilient so that we can adapt to the changes.
What does green mean, right? In my mind, it's to preserve and respect our resources.
When I first started carpentry, I was taught by the old-timer how to do something. This is how you did it, this is how we've always done it.
I was never a guy who could see things thrown out or not ordering just the right amount. I remember I'd go in the dump box and I'd grab them out and they said, "Kid, what are you doing with that?" I said, "It's brand new material. Don't worry, it's paid for."
Anyone that's a sustainability professional will say, we swim upstream. You have to be willing to swim upstream because there's often not a lot of support for what you do because a lot of it costs more money. It's new. People don't know how to do it. They have to do it differently than before.
The belief in sustainable design has to start from the beginning. And I think that cultural shift is occurring now.
I was reading about and heard about this U.S. Green Building Council. I started looking for their training. They'd say, "Well, we don't really have any training for contractors." I'm talking to them and saying, "Listen, we're supposed to build what you design. Shouldn't we know what that is?" And they said, "You know what? That's a good idea. Would you like to help us build a program?"
Leopardo, the company George works for, embraced his ideas. Soon, George was developing green curriculum for Leopardo, who in turn offered it to the Green Building Council.
We had started a program called the Nuts and Bolts for Contractors, and that was a 8-hour session where we taught what was required for a lead project, not for designers, not for building operators, but for contractors.
That class gives them that background to understand, why would I recycle? Why would I avoid a heat island effect? Why would I have a green roof?
You can create a beautiful civic building from scratch, and it doesn't have to cost more money. It doesn't have to be, something. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be done smart. It has to be done right.
With these new LEED buildings that are going up, it's critical for us to make sure that our apprentices understand, hey, this is the proper way to do things.
And I think with the general trades providing that training, emphasizing the importance of sustainability and design and the LEED components, I think it makes our jobs easier in the field.
LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. It's a system devised by the United States Green Building Council to evaluate the environmental performance of a building.
LEED is about energy efficiency, material resource conservation. It really is about the environmental factors.
Whether it's reducing our carbon footprint, whether it's cost-driven and reducing our actual cost for operating and managing a building, looking at reducing or managing how we maintain buildings. There's lots of different factors that we think about.
It's a little like an a la carte menu.
There's a scorecard. There's maybe 6 or 7 required things you have to do to get LEED certified, and then everything else is you pick it, and then you get certified based on your numeric score.
They document everything on those buildings, on what's being used.
And the standards are high and adherence is strict.
If they run out of, say, an adhesive or a caulking that they're using for that job site, they can't just go to Home Depot and go get another one. They have to check the specs. We're talking about the low VOCs, making sure that it's going to meet the ratings that are required for that LEED building to get that certification.
This city has adapted sustainable building practices much earlier than most cities, back in early 2000s.
The first municipally owned building that achieved LEED Platinum certification was the Chicago Center for Green Technology. That certification was received in 2003. So you fast forward from 2003, we're at 2017, we're nearly at 100 projects with certifications. That's a big achievement.
So in the beginning, we thought sustainability, we're going to get it to a point to where we're obsolete. And we were kind of getting there. What used to be the exception is now the norm. So, of course, we wanted to keep stepping up the levels.
In 2014, I was at Greenbuild in New Orleans, and Paul Shala was there with Deepak Chopra. They rolled out the well building standard. And I remember sitting there going like, well, this has nothing to do with sustainability.
The well building standard shifts the focus from the building to its inhabitants.
There are criteria and points that need to be gained in order to get the certification, but it focuses more on the environment as it relates to things, for example, like making sure employees always have direct access to drinking water, or the opportunity to stand up or sit down at their workplace.
Some of the other credits are around nutrition, the food that you would have in your cafe, how much sugar is in it, are there trans fats in it. Depending on what features or preconditions you choose, the employees would have to have access to a gym.
And Leopardo practices what it preaches. In the fall of 2017, they broke ground on the Sterling Bay building that will contain their new Chicago office. Occupying one whole floor, Leopardo will seek both LEED and WELL certification.
We see well building as a reward to the industry, a reward to our people and our clients.
The way we do business is going to change. The way we live is going to change.
So it may seem that one project can't make a difference, but 100 projects have made a difference, and 1,000 projects will make a bigger difference.
What comes after well building? I'm not quite sure, but I'm excited to find out.
That's all for this episode of Built to Last. We'll see you next time.
And be sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And remember, from how you build to how you eat, it's good to be green.
Like Kermit.
Leave the jokes to me, Monica.
I did not write that.
See you
Who
next
wrote
time.
that?